Hey there, welcome in. My name's Josh, and today we're talking about what you should do in the meantime while you're waiting to become a full-time artist. And by that I mean, like, what do you do to pay your bills? What's the best course of action? And that kind of depends on you as a person. There's no real blanket, easy answer that applies to everybody everywhere. And out of all the different answers that people could give you to answer this question, they can typically fall into one of two categories, which is either the sprint category or the marathon category. And I've done both, and I mean, I think marathon's better, even though the type A in me hates to admit that. So when I say the sprint category, this type of answer of what you do in the meantime is it's whatever you do, it doesn't really matter as long as you can barely scrape by with your bills, but what you're really doing is you're spending the most amount of time doing art, because no job matters unless it's the dream job, because all the other jobs are just the same, because simply put, they're not the dream job. So it doesn't really matter what you do because it's not what you want to do. So do whatever you can to just get by, and whatever you can that gives you the most amount of time to practice art. And that's what I did. I graduated with a screenwriting degree. I had a lot of catching up to do. I was teaching myself art from scratch at 21 through the power of the internet, and I became a server. I was a server and a bartender at Olive Garden, and I would work evenings, which would let me work in art all throughout the morning until I would go into work, and then I'd work until 11, and then I'd wake up at 4:30 or 5, and I'd continue the cycle again. And I could do a lot of art that way. That's the whole reason why I took the job. I could bust out a solid 8 hours, maybe 9 hours if I woke up early enough before going in for a 6-hour, 7-hour, 8-hour shift at work to pay the bills. Now before you do that though, what you have to realize is that since you're working evenings, that takes out your social life pretty much in its entirety, because you'll be working weekends because that's where most of the money is, and most of your friends aren't going to be working evenings. Most of your friends, unless they are also artists, are going to be having regular jobs and are going to be getting out at around the time that you're going in. So what you'll often find is that when you're in the service industry, a lot of your friends will also be people in the service industry because they're the only people you could actually reliably hang out with. Now, I was able to find it to be kind of passable because my days off would be Monday, Tuesday, and then I would, hang out on Discord with my friends, and we would play video games on Monday and Tuesday night because, you can still play games during the week. It's not just a weekend thing. So, I got by. So the sprinting route can work, which is the mentality of, I'll just kill myself for X amount of time and just, bust my balls doing art, and then once I get out, then it'll all be worth it. And then I can slow, and then I can catch up. And you're pretty much putting your life on hold because you haven't gotten to this one part of your life that you want, which is working in the industry, doing art full time, etc., etc. And it's it sounds good on paper, but the problem is that the road to mastery is really, really long, and that's depending on how hard and how literally you take the kill yourself model until you get there, you're gonna burn out and you're gonna be miserable, and that's what happened to me. Because I've been on the sprint track for the past 2 years, and something else to consider is that if your dream is to be in the industry, that's different than being on YouTube or being on Twitch full time. The other benefit of being on the restaurant side of things on the sprint track is that it gives you more time to be active on the internet. So you can upload more videos, you can spend more time on Twitch, you can do that. But again, at the cost of not really having a social life of, people IRL, the people who actually grew up with you and because you're always working. So it has its benefits, but you have to I don't recommend it, honestly, because I'm really kind of drained. The second answer to this question is the thing that I'm trying to adopt. It's the marathon approach, and that's find a routine that you can do consistently, day in and day out, and not hate yourself. Because it takes a long time to get really good. But the problem with this approach for all the type A's out there, who have a lot of ambition, who have a lot of dreams, like me, it gives me anxiety because it's now I don't have time to do art. I could do 30 to 40 hours of art a week working in the restaurant, and now if I do a different job, if I do a 9 to 5, if I go into management, if I do a job that actually requires more mental stimulation, if I do something that's more respected, if I do, a big boy job, then that means I only get to do maybe 9 to 10 hours a week, that's the thing is for people who have a lot of ambition, for people who have a lot of drive, for people like me, I struggle to not do something 100%. If I do something, I'm gonna go nuts. I'm just gonna go ham, and I'm just gonna do with everything I got. And you know, I did that for 2 years, but the thing is that I went so ham in like one area. Like, I'm learning how to go ham in all the areas at once so that I don't burn out. Like, I have to go ham in prioritizing time with my wife so I can actually start and hang out with her. I have to go ham in making YouTube videos and uploading that. I have to go ham in doing Twitch. I have to go ham in actually improving as an artist, because if you're doing a YouTube or a Twitch, that's time you're not actually improving. You're making content. Like, there's filling in your cup and then pouring out your cup. So you have to have enough time to both pour and fill. And it's like, it's a lot to take in, and the reality is that the more priorities that you have, the less time each of those things get. And if you prioritize one or the others get neglected. So figuring out how to do everything at once is like really stressful. So it makes a lot of sense intellectually, philosophically, to just focus on one, neglect everything else until that gets ready, and then you can go back and you can revisit all the things you've neglected. That's the sprinting approach. I tried that. It didn't really work for me because I couldn't sprint the race. It's too long. So now I'm going back and think of all of my priorities like plants, and I'm trying to water all my different plants, but the problem is I have the same amount of water, and I've been accustomed to dumping out all my water onto one plant. And now that I can't dump out all that water on every single plant, I feel like I'm not doing enough. Because even though it's the same amount of water, it's the same amount of time, I'm evenly distributing them on all the plants that I have in my garden. So even though I might have some favorite plants, I might like some more than others, like they're all important. Like, spending time with your friends is important. Spending time with your significant other is important. Spending time to rest and relax is important. Spending time to have hobbies outside of art is important. Like, it's not that they're unimportant, but it's just that you can't make yourself so miserable in the present and bank for a future that you don't even know is gonna come. And if it does come, you don't really know when. If you asked me a year ago, Josh, if you were to die tomorrow, how would you feel? Most people would be pissed. Nobody wants to die. But like, I would be especially pissed because I was not happy. I was miserable. It's like, I felt like that it wouldn't have mattered. Like, I felt like that, you know, it's like I'm working a job I don't like, I'm working hours I don't like, I'm not happy, I'm just kind of sticking it out for some inevitable payoff. And if that inevitable payoff doesn't happen, then I feel like I'll have wasted X amount of years of my life because I've been so miserable trying to get there. And it puts all of this weight and emphasis on making it, or whatever that is to you, being a full-time Twitch streamer, YouTuber, making the industry, and it's like your whole life hinges on this if you make it moment, because everything in your life has been sacrificed so you can do the most amount of time to achieve that. And that's a lot of pressure. That's gonna mess with your mental health a lot. So, I mean, I feel that ambition, I feel that dream, I feel that discontentment, but you can't do that. You have to water all your plants at once. It's gonna feel less because you wanna dump out all your time and all your water onto the one plant, and then come back to everything else later. But you have to take that and you have to divvy it out over all the things individually so that you can actually get there alive. Again, you have to enjoy the journey more than the destination, because the journey is a lot longer than the destination will be. That's gonna be an event, that's gonna be a day, maybe a week, you know? And then you're gonna be back on the journey again until you get to another goal. So it's like, get your plants watered, all of them, because you're gonna be spending a lot more time watering them than you are gonna be looking at them, seeing how pretty they are. Like, enjoy the journey. Does that make sense? So to sum up, what job should you get while you wait to be an artist? Get a job that doesn't make you hate your life. Whatever that is, you know? Think about what you can do to have the most amount of life satisfaction while still pursuing your dream. Don't give up, by all means, that's stupid. No, you're still gonna try to be an artist, you're still gonna make it one day, you still have that optimism, but don't go so off the deep end that you kill yourself trying to make it happen, because if something happens, you break your wrist, you get in a car accident, you don't make it in as much time as you want, like, it's not worth it. And what that practically means for me right now is that I am having to decide if I'm going to apply and try to get a job outside of the restaurant industry. It's a hard balance to strike, but you have to do it because you cannot sprint the journey. It can't be done. So, thanks so much for watching. I have that Twitch, I have that Discord, I have Patreon. If this helped you, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the stuff you do anyway. I will see all of you next week.